Hi there, you're welcome to this Lightwalk podcast channel. In this channel, I talk mostly about spirituality and esoteric things, metaphysics, things beyond the 3D world we live in, things beyond physicality, that is, energies, benevolent and malevolent energies beyond this physical world. That is what I discuss mostly in this channel. So we are going to continue today with what I've termed the final ascension. That is the topic of this podcast. Things we're going to be discussing will be linked to this final ascension, this shift the Earth is currently undergoing now. Because for those who are just joining this podcast new, I just want to remind them or let them understand that since the 21st of December 2012, the Earth has officially shifted to a new dimension, to a fifth dimension. That is a dimension of the benevolence, kindness, sharing, compassionate, joyful. So the darkness, the warmongers, all the countries still fighting wars, we just term them darkness. They are fighting for survival right now because light has already won. We have moved officially into the fifth dimension. And I just want to also let my brothers and sisters understand that we have had four generations or four civilizations of humanity. We've had four. This one we've been in was the fifth one. And the Mayan long calendar, that's why it is read, is 5,125 years. It means the Earth, every civilization was around 5,125 years, around that time. So the last four civilizations couldn't make it to where we are now. That is what Jesus was teaching about. All the masters that came before Jesus, Elijah, Buddha. It was to help us cross this mark of 21st of December, the Mayan long count calendar. It just meant evolution. We have evolved from this last civilization, and we are now lucky to move to a higher vibration planet now. We didn't kill ourselves. We didn't eliminate. If you follow all the scriptures and all those people who foretold the end of the world, you go to people like Nostradamus and even the Bible, and everybody was expecting a third world war with the end of civilization as we knew it. That is what I'm trying to talk about. It didn't happen. It will never happen again. We have now moved to the fifth dimension now. It means all the former civilizations, all the four, from the ancient Egyptians to before that 2,000, 10,000, 20,000 years ago, all those civilizations that didn't make it because they auto-destruct, they self-destructed themselves with weapons, with all kinds of things, floods, I don't know, everything. But the civilization destroyed themselves. They didn't make it because of low consciousness. They had very low consciousness. They couldn't make it. But we are lucky in this civilization to have a higher consciousness. And I always try to link the war currently going on in Ambazonia in Cameroon and the English part of Cameroon as a consciousness war. It's awakening. It's part of what I'm trying to explain every time, that the people of Amazonia, they have woken, they are awake. You can never bring them back anymore. There is that consciousness I'm talking about, that we have shifted. So people are not accepting the lies anymore. People are awake. They see the darkness is revealing themselves. They can distinguish between the truth and lies and all those kind of things. Consciousness has evolved. And that's what I'm trying to say. So that's where that. So it's not only happened in Ambazonia. It happened in Egypt before. I think 2012 there was a revolution, an Egyptian revolution. It happened in Nigeria. If you look at the Middle East, the suicide bombers, they have sort of vanished. We don't hear about them anymore. If you can rewind your mind back, you will know there was a certain time whereby every blessed day was stories of suicide bombings. It was just a normal thing there, but it's finished. You don't hear it anymore. It's that evolvement of consciousness, evolution, the official higher vibration of the planet. Since we've moved to a higher vibration, since the planet has moved to a higher vibration planet, those things, people are more consciously aware now than before. That's what I'm just trying to explain. So, having said that, let's just go in more deeply. It's often said that a humble man is more to God than an ego-driven person. So if you look at the masters who walked the planet, like Jesus, the Buddha, Elijah, once more, they taught us something that was, quite insightful, and that was compassionate action. They were very compassionate. And these masters had no ego. They were people who you could sit on their feet and wash their feet, and they will just because of their compassion, the love they had, the countenance, you could just feel loved without judgment. They didn't judge you. That is what is important to note. And during these times, it's also important to think outside of the environment or the program. We have been programmed from birth with all kinds of things, from religious, from the religious point of view, to the governments, from everything. It's now important to open your eyes and see what works and what doesn't work. Because the new energies are coming. We should be able to manage those energies. You don't own them, but you manage them. Energies that are going to open your eyes, because all the programming we've had, all the religious teachings we've had since we were young, and all believing in God is is what it is, the good thing. But most of the things we've been taught, it needs to be taught, to be looked at, critically, but not looked at once more and try to see what works really from all the knowledge we've gathered up to now. So beware of the programming. The energies have changed. We are now being bombarded with benevolent energies, and darkness is being revealed. So you should look carefully around you. You will be seeing darkness. You will see all the negative, from homosexuality, from pedophilia. All those things are coming out now. You will be seeing them, and don't be surprised to see to get the greatest shock of your life when most of the real revelations start coming out, and they will. And now humanity is now, we are not going beyond humanity. Humanity is now, as we know it, we are now going to start thinking more in energy forms, in metaphysical forms, and thinking about the realm across the veil, to the source, the creator, how to link to the angels, how to connect yourself. You should try. We are now going to start activating those energies. It's an engine inside of us, as I can say. Activate and try to see how you could connect to all the seed parents of humanity. They are the gods, the angelic being collective, the higher self, how to reach the other side of the veil. Train yourself, walk with yourself, And life is the enemy here, because we are still dealing in alchemical changes and principles, instead of moving beyond that and going and trying to work with the energies and seeing to see something else. And For this ascension, as there's only one step to this ascension. The human being with intent and plus the higher self can just say, this is an affirmation. You can say, "Dear God, tell me what I need to know. I'm ready to start the process." And you don't need to know what the process is. I'm just giving guidelines on how you could start to ask for these energies, because we are living in a free will planet. It means if you don't ask the seed parents, the angelic collective, if you don't ask, you don't get these energies directly, because that's why the angels, the scriptures, the Bible, the holy books, they are all written sometimes in parables, because that's how angels, the angelic collective communicates. They don't say directly because of this element of free will. You have to ask. So if you say this little affirmation, let me repeat it. "Dear God, tell me what is it I need to know. I'm ready to start the process." Just that is enough. They will hear it, and then you will be assisted with energies and directives, synchronicities of how to help you and go forward. This planet is heading into another wave of energy that will vibrate the crystalline grid in a way that has never been seen before. The crystalline grid here is a certain grid that in the planet that stores all the emotions. The Akashic records, I'm sure some of you have heard of it, they are the records of your past life reincarnations, because we as human beings, we reincarnate every time. You die, you don't stay too long, you reincarnate to one of the closest family members. It's always been like that. But this knowledge is hidden from us. That's why they paint, I was talking about the teachings, beware of the teachings of the programming. They bring us something of hell, suffering. There is nothing like that, because God cannot really create you and then later give you free will, and then later punish you for the free will he gave you to do whatever you want. So it doesn't make any sense. So what I'm trying to say here is just that this crystalline grid stores emotions from every reincarnation you've had in the plan for the past 15, 20,000 years. We've been dying and coming back, dying and coming back. And now, because of the higher vibration, the process of reincarnation has fastened, is increased in intensity. It means those who are dying now are coming back within months. You see them dying, we will be grieving and all those things, but they will be back in any of the family, extended family members. They will come back as young kids, but then they will come back and start from zero. Their past lives, what they lived before, their experience, the consciousness they gained, it will be stored in this crystalline grid. This grid I'm talking about. It stores the Akashic records, your records of your past life, what you were, whether you were a doctor, a scientist, a professor, whatever you were, it all stays there. So when you come, you start again. And so each time, that is what I mean by evolution in consciousness. So now we have been evolved to a certain level that the planet has seen that humanity is now finally conscious. People are now a little bit conscious. They are no more very primitive like before. So the planet has allowed us now to shift. That's where I'm going with all this. And you've got three kinds of humanity that's going to see this light, or see this awareness, awakening, this new consciousness I'm talking about, this vibration that we are leading into, this new kind of energies. These three kinds of, by these three kinds of humanity, I'm talking about, you have one kind of humanity, or human section of human beings who do not see the light, who do not see clarity, who cannot understand these things I'm talking about, because they are living in the dark. They don't know what light is. What they know was this dark energy, material things. They do not understand the shift. They can never understand it. This kind of human beings, this kind of humanity, they are, even with the tools, they will never know what to do with it, because they would not even want to venture into light. They would prefer the darkness. And they will see light as an odd place for them. And this particular type of humanity do not think they need to know what light is in general. And then you've got the second wave of humanity, second kind of humanity who are spiritual, who would say, oh yeah, I really want to know about this your spiritual thing. I really want to know more about the energies of the benevolent energies, the angelic energies. But I've got something to do, and I will look into it later. I will, they have that intention of doing it, but they are not really there. And then you've got a third kind who will want just to see what it is, touch the light, feel it, and go into it directly and be so excited to learn more about spirituality, about this metaphysic, angelic connections with spirit, with the spiritual realm, with esoteric kind of things. And when you decide to follow the light, that is when you decide to align your consciousness to that of the planet, which is of higher vibration, joyful, compassionate, love and compassion. That's what Jesus and the masters were talking about. That is what we are now. That's where we are now in the planet. The planet has aligned with that consciousness. So when you decide to follow it, that is following the light, and you become well with your soul. Your soul will now align fully. You will see peace where there was no peace before. Because this benevolence, this kindness, this light, this ability to see and sense things, you're working with your intuition, with your innate, with your pineal gland, all of them will become active, and you will start seeing things. You will be non-judgmental. You will not like to judge people. People will want, you will start to see changes around you. People will like to be around you, and you will start to have compassion, serious compassion, and you will be balanced. In the way your way of talking, your way of doing things, people will see that you are totally balanced, and you will be in charge of your own destiny. Drama and all those things will spin around you, but they will never affect you. That's what happens when you move into the light. So you see things differently. You can see the darkness manifesting openly. You can see it on television. You can see it live. You can see it with your neighbors. You can see it with the war currently going on in Ambazonia. You could see how darkness, which is the French Cameroon army, that's all they ever knew. That is really darkness. You can see how they behave. But they will finish. It will finish. And then people will become, the whole Africa, the whole world will awaken to what has happened, and it will change consciousness. That is the purpose of that war, which has been a setup. All these things I'm saying is for people also to sit down and think. They will realize that what I'm saying is the right thing. It's the truth. It's a kind of a setup by the seed parents, this war going on, to awaken the people, to awaken the soul. Same like this, the virus, the coronavirus, the pandemic that is going on. It is also a kind of a setup to awaken souls, to awaken people, to make people wake up to light. Those are just the catalysts of awakening those who are still asleep. Because to tell them, oh, wake up, the planet has now shifted. We are no more in an old energy. We are now in a new kind of energy that will be able to make you see things that you never thought were possible before. So this planet is heading into another wave of energy that will vibrate the crystalline grid, as I said, into a way that has not been seen before. So another thing that I want to say here is just that that people should be much more concerned, that they are not a victim. Humanity, even on the war-torn areas, people are not here the victims of the planet. No, we were not sent here to suffer. We were humanity was not. You are not born to suffer. Let me put it in this simplest term. Human beings, you are here with a soul to learn, and we have been doing that for the past thousands of years, and now is the graduation. We have graduated because we are now, the consciousness of humanity has matured. That's why the planet was able to shift without any nuclear war, as predicted by all the scriptures and everybody around in the past who could see in the timeline. They could see that in the timeline that the earth was programmed for destruction, but it didn't happen because consciousness saved us. Our consciousness consciousness has evolved to such a level that it could not permit the war. That is another way of putting it. It could not permit that kind of destruction anymore. So we succeeded. So if I could go back a little, you see, the demise of the Soviet Union was a kind of a wild card, and nobody saw it coming. Where you had two powerful two powerful countries like the Soviet Union and the United States, the leaders could sit together and negotiate peace and agree to destroy all the arsenal of nuclear weaponry. So that was a wild card for humanity, and that was the beginning of dismantling. The European Union is another one, that countries could just come together and decide to have no borders, borderless, and to try to rule like one people. So it was a positive thing. Those things helped to finish the wars, if you look at it in that way. That is still the evolution of consciousness, the maturity in consciousness that allowed people to think that way and come up with those solutions to bring peace to the planet. And at the moment, you are looking at a new paradigm, one that sees consciousness very differently than you ever saw it before. The shift is real. This shift in consciousness, the shift that the earth is undergoing now, is real. If you look at in America, for example, you will see that Donald Trump, who I will say it's a wild card to start with. That's a wild card, is somebody who appears from nowhere and changes things indirectly without you really knowing he's changing things. He's pointing his finger at everybody, but in the process of that chaos, he is changing a lot. You've heard of the term order out of chaos. So without chaos, you can't have any order. You must first have the order. It must be a chaotic environment for a real wild card to come, a person with that knowledge and ability to come and change things. That's what I'm trying to say. And this war in Ambazonia could also be a kind of a wild card in another sense in the whole sub-Saharan African region, because it will awaken people. All the images going the whole world, they are waking people up to the barbarism and all the what darkness is capable of doing. And people are going, and when it's all finished, I think the whole Africa will shift because of the war going on in Ambazonia. So that those are part of all has to do with evolution in consciousness. And those who are dying from the war, I know there's a lot of grief. People are alarmed, but they are coming back within months. They are already back. But there's nothing like hell they are going to. It doesn't exist. We are just, when humanity is here on the planet to reincarnate and train your soul and develop in consciousness. And we have done that for thousands of years. There's nothing like you're going to burn in hell. It doesn't exist. It's just reincarnating after reincarnating, and then your past lives is being stored in the crystalline grid. So when you come every time, but now it's finished. When we die and we come back now, we are able, with the new energies that are coming, to tap into that crystalline grid. That's what I'm talking about, experimenting with metaphysics, with outside energies that are not physical. You will then be able to have more downloads from the seed parents, from the angelic collective. They will give you more knowledge, how to manage these energies. And you can go back to your past lives and bring that consciousness when you were a lecturer, when you were a rocket scientist, when you were king, when you were president. Bring all those consciousness and help you be a better person in this new consciousness, in this new paradigm. That is what I'm talking about. That is where we are heading to. A world with no wars, a world that will have technologies that will have mass food production. Hunger will be the thing of the past. New inventions that will bring about flying cars, instantaneous traveling, all those kind of things. You've seen them in movies, cars flying in the building. That's where we are heading to. It's going to happen. Television, quantum TV sets that will be able to beam right in the center of the galaxy, and you will see other civilizations. People walking like me and you, talking, doing, but we cannot assess that now because the inventions are not yet. They are around the corner, but not yet in the public, because you must have a quantum television that can have this, that can tap into the field of energies. We don't yet have it yet, but it's coming. When you can tap into the field of energy, we'll be able to see the things live. That's what I'm trying to say. So we have evolved from an animal instinct kind of survival mode to this level. It's been the time of Adam and Eve, that was 50,000 plus or minus years ago. To the last 30,000 years, we have really matured as humanity. That was the beginning. 50,000 years was the beginning, experimentation of humanity and all those kind of things. And imagine from that time till now, we have been dying, reincarnating, but every time the memory is wiped, our memories are wiped, we don't know when we come. History, the artifacts, all the remains from past civilizations, they are buried somewhere, some are destroyed, some are hidden by governments, we never know them, but it's gradually coming to the open. And we have, as I am saying, we are coming to the realization that the love of God inside of you can manifest and change things. Now it's time to stop looking at statues and glorifying them, and instead turning inward and looking for the energies. That's what I'm trying to say once more. It's the time we are now in a paradigm where you don't have to look at statues and worship them, but instead worship the God inside you, because it's all inside. It's inside your soul. The angelic collective, the higher selves, all live inside your soul. They don't live high there in the stars. They live inside your soul. So it's time to focus your prayers inside instead of outwards. I mean, you pray, but you channel direct the energies inwards. And there are many kinds of love, but the love of the source, of the creator, that knows your name, that knows everything about you, is the ultimate. That is where what we strive for. The love of, the creator God loves us no matter what we do, because we all have a soul. Some people who are more awake right now, who are really getting the message out, are the real spiritual beings, spiritual people who are deeply spiritual. We call them old souls, or souls that have reincarnated more than any other souls. We've got 27 kinds of human beings. You have young souls, people who are they didn't reincarnate as much as some, depending on what they were doing on earth. But some of them, there are people who have reincarnated for 100 years, 100 times, let me put it, some 50, some 20, some 10. It depends. And so the ones who have not reincarnated as much, we call them young souls. And then you've got the old souls who have reincarnated for thousands of years, who have much more experience being shown right now by the action, by their way of, first of all, they are the ones who are at the forefront of managing these new energies that are coming to the planet. That's what I'm. At some point in time, this darkness or dark consciousness or those cabal and all those people fighting wars around, they will become a minority because light has already won. But darkness, all of them, they are fighting the last battles. But it's over because light has won. Where the earth didn't undergo destruction at the end of the 5,125 years. So now we are in a new cycle. If you understood that Mayan calendar thing, then this is a new Mayan calendar we are starting. That 5,100, we went from 5,125 years. Imagine, the 2,000 years ago Jesus was here, but the 3,000 years before Jesus came out till now. That's the civilization I'm talking about. It's finished. Now we didn't get destroyed. We are moving now to a new calendar, a new 5,125. This is the new one now. So at some point in time, as I was saying, the dark consciousness will be minority, a real minority, forced into the corner because of love and light will push them. Love, benevolence, love, and light and compassion will push darkness to one corner. And gradually, the love will invite them to see the truth, the light. Some will adhere to it and you will be much more understanding towards the light, but others who will refuse, by others here, I mean the darkness, the cabal, those who will refuse to follow the light, they will die. They will just, the planet will take them off. They will extinct. They will just go extinct. They will just disappear. They will die in one form of the honor or the other. Synchronicity will kill them. Let me put it that way. Could be accidents, wars, things, any kind of thing will just take them out of the system because then their vibration does not fit anymore with the planet. So the planet will take them with anything. The battle is not over, but light is winning and will continue to win. So in that light, you will see that inappropriate behavior is beginning to come to the surface. This is because darkness is being seen, whereas before, darkness, that is all this cabal and those involved in pedophilia and child trafficking and all those things, they could hide. They could not be seen because they always hide. The media always hided them. The court, the system, the judicial system, the whole system was hiding them. Let me put it that way. They could not get a conviction because they were all protected. But now it's all coming in the open. Now they are not able to hide as they did before because they are being exposed. And humanity in its evolvement will also clean itself because as we are evolving and seeing new things and getting shocked by the wars, segment destruction in the wars, the killings, the pandemic, and people dying it's awakening consciousness. People are getting awake. And people, if you look carefully, you will see something profoundly dysfunctional in the government. You see that they are fighting. Everyone is at everyone's throat. Look I come back to La Republique government, how they are doing. Fighting every day, making wrong decisions, politicians lying. Political, they are at each other's throat. In America, the same thing. All over, they are not getting anything accomplished. Lying from one lie to the other, they cover it and just continue with no shame. The whole idea is to beat up the other one, defeat the other one, use force. No thing is that is approaching diplomacy is sin. It's all about power and beating the other one, and that is this is what has been going on for the last 200 or so years, but now it's gradually being exposed, and because of this rise in consciousness of humanity, being more aware, The horror of children's sexual slavery. That's also going to be exposed more and more as time goes on. I remember there was a while ago, there was a plane in Chad that they stopped the plane with more than 200 children, little children that were bound for this European cabal, elites in the West. I think it was last year. Though that is what I'm trying to say about that. They were going for this pedophile ring. That's where they do. They go around assembling children in Nigeria. There's a certain village. There's a child farming. They call it. Excuse me, I couldn't. I'm not able to figure out which particular one. But there's a story in Nigeria where these young girls just give birth and they take the children away. That's what they use them for. It's for pedophilia kind of things, for sexual slavery and energy. Those cabalists, they feed on those energies. So that is what has been going on for a long time, covered for so long, but now it's coming to the open. And the open, because of light is coming. Light is pushing them, exposing them. And the human nature is going to start evolving into a paradigm that never was like before. And a new paradigm that was, that has never been seen before. And you will not, and there's something that nobody expected it. And that's why people should not be afraid to try things you never thought of before. Like, and I go back to this war going on in Ambazonia, it is as I don't want to be accused here of glorifying war, but it is a war of consciousness that is opening people's eyes. And the people who are going to benefit from that war, the Amazonians, because they will win. And then the eyes of most of the African countries are going to be open. That this, and it will be something that will reshape and awaken a lot of people. That is also one thing that's going to come out of that war. And that's why the war history is not going to repeat itself. So people should go up, do things, try to do new things, look at things you've never done before and try them, because they will work. They didn't work in the past. That was an old energy, but they may work now. Light is coming out, and those who have been invested in this dark will also start to show themselves in terrible ways. Some of them will go out of their way to take a lot of people as possible with them as they go on, as they go. By that I mean they will, because they know they are dying, they will try to kill a lot of people, many people as they can, to take them away with them. So they will not like to die alone. They would like to take a lot of people along with them. Things are systems. People that are dysfunctional will become more dysfunctional. And those that are leaning towards light will have more light. They will have more rejuvenation. Because the world is not coming to an end. And they will see more light. Darkness will become more and more exposed. That's important for people to note. That's, all these things will lead to people waking up, whether they want it or not. Those who refuse to wake up are going to perish in one way or the other. And that's what, that the people will become, you see more divinity in people. People will start to understand what spirit is really, And you will start seeing things, seeing the logic of things, seeing the rationale of things in this new paradigm. And people who deal with spiritual things, they will have, they will be much more than that state of madness. and totalitarian that we see right now. It's people. In short, people are going to be much more awakened to the kind of realities they never thought before that was possible. Things you never thought before that was possible because of the dark energy of the past. All those things will become possible right now. You will see them. It's not that they will happen behind you. No, you will see them. In your dreams, you see things that you never thought before that was possible. That's all what is in place for us in this ascension process. So thank you once more for listening to this podcast.